Valerie has been a client of, actually, it's before us, but she can give you a little bit of a taste of what we're doing here.
I met Manndi in 2015, and I was referred to her by a psychologist that I was seeing at the time because my husband had told me that he wanted a divorce, and we were married for 20 years. So I was in a bit of a crisis. And it had been going on for a few years before that. Actually, we'd been through quite a lot of stress, and things just weren't getting right. We'd gone for a bit of counselling, but nothing seemed to be working. So he decided in his own mind that he wanted a divorce. So when I went to Anita, she referred me to Manndi, and I went to see Manndi, and I decided that I should empower myself if that's the route that I'm going, because I need to know a little bit about divorce if I'm going to land up getting divorced. So when I went to see Manndi the first time, she explained to me all the different legal processes, as well as the processes of emotions that I would be feeling. I really did understand it a lot better, because at that time I was in a lot of shock and a lot of anger, and I was very angry and frustrated, and she helped me to understand that it was pretty normal to be that way, that it wasn't an abnormal feeling that I was having. So I felt quite at ease, and I really understood then at that point that my first option would be to go the collaborative way, because it made sense to me that I didn't really want to go into a big fight with somebody that I've known for 30 years and been married to for 20 years. And I have 2 beautiful children with him. So for me, I'd already made that decision that that was the way that I wanted to go. After that, he came and Manndi explained it all to him, and we decided that we'd sign a collaborative agreement. However, I never really thought that he was on board with it, because it was a bit tricky. We were in a lot of conflict, so it was hard to see where I was and where he was. We were at different points, actually. I think at that point maybe he was a little bit ahead of me in the process, and I was still in the beginning of the process. So we signed an agreement, and I met Georgina then, and I think we only had 2 consultations with you. And he had committed to telling the children, and then we had decided, but still in the back of my mind I wasn't quite sure that that's really what I wanted to do, and I was still actually in a lot of denial. And then as the process went along, Manndi coached me every day. I sent her a message every day. She had a lot of patience with me. And as I went through it, I started to understand. I did a Power of Purpose, the course that she was running, and I started to understand that a lot of what I was believing as I went along was not really the truth. It was just something that I'd made up or being led to believe. And of course, one of the big things that I'd been led to believe was that if you get divorced, you're actually a failure and you're a disaster and there's no hope. So anyway, I did the Power of Purpose, and then I did a little bit more work. I was on team with Manndi the next time she ran it. And through the next course, I really gained a lot more insight into the content of the work and my emotional state. And then I started to move a little bit further along. And in the end, my husband decided to pull out of the collaboration, and we went into litigation. But I think by that time I was already pretty far down the line. So emotionally I'd accepted the fact that we were going to get divorced. And by the time we actually got to the advocates, I'd already decided in my own mind what I wanted, what was the best for the children. I didn't want to go into conflict over my children. I didn't want to have an assessment done on the children because they'd already been through so much trauma. So in the end, we sat for the whole day and we signed the agreement, the settlement in the end, and at that point I was actually really happy that it was all over and finalized. So I think for me the benefits were that I was actually guided along through the process, because I have a few friends that are going through the process and they're still in the process right at the beginning stages, and they've been doing it for 2 years now. but they haven't gone through the emotions and the psychological aspects of how they need to move forward through the process. And I think that what Manndi and Georgina are offering is actually, when you're in a crisis situation, something like that, when you actually guided and held in the situation, you come out of it so much better, and you have a better understanding and acceptance of it in the end.
Thank you. Thank you, Val.